Unit 2, Formative 1, Day 5, Application. Today we're going to be talking about all the application problems that are on the test, so make sure you take good notes. If x is greater than -4 and y is less than 2, then xy is greater than 0. Determine if this is always, sometimes, or never true. So we got to think about this. X is greater than -4, so that's any number that's bigger than -4, while y is less than 2. And then if you take x and y and you multiply them together, you get a number that's bigger than 0. Well, a number that's bigger than 0 is positive. So when can you multiply two numbers together to get a positive? Well, you can take a positive times a positive, or you can take a negative times a negative. So let's think of some numbers that are bigger than -4 that are positive. So let's go 2. A number that's smaller than 2 that's positive times 1 equals 2. So that's bigger than 0, so that one works. Let's think of some numbers that might be negative. Okay, x is greater than -4, so let's just try -3, because that's bigger than -4, but it's negative. Y is less than 2, so let's do -1, and that's +3, so again, that works. Okay, but let's see if we can find one that's a positive times a negative. Well, x is greater than -4, so let's just do 5, because that's positive. Y is less than 2, let's go -2. Well, that's -10, so that one doesn't work. So you can see we can sometimes get it to work, but it doesn't always work. Okay, so our answer is sometimes. Okay, let's try another one. Define a variable and write an inequality that represents each situation. A person must be at least 16 years old to have a driver's license. Well, if they have to be 16, they have to either be 16 or they have to be older. Okay, so let's define a variable. So x is talking about the age of a person. Okay, because that's what we're talking about in this problem. And the age of a person has to be greater than 16, but you could be 16, so x is greater than or equal to 16. Okay, B, a car must go at least 45 miles per hour on the interstate, which means the car has to go 45 or more. Okay, so x is going to be the speed of the car. Don't forget, we're defining our variables. Okay, and our speed of our car has to be greater than or equal to 45. All right, let's keep going. A teacher knows that the students will score within 4 points of the class mean 80%. If you remember what mean is, it's the average. Write an inequality that represents the test scores. Okay, so if the class is within 4 points of 80%, what could their grades be? So you got to think about this. They could be 4% higher, which would be an 84, or they could be 4% lower, which would be a 76. Okay, so our scores are between 76 and 84, and how you write that is a compound inequality. X is between them. Okay, so you write that like that. So x is between 76 and 84. That would be 4 points, within 4 points of the average 80. Your test scores for science are 72% and 68%. What possible scores can you earn on the next test to have an average between 70 and 75 inclusive? Write your answer in interval notation. This one, they try to put some words in here that are just weird. Okay, so we need to make sure we're focused on what we're talking about. So if our test scores are between 72 and 68, our average would be right in the middle of that. So if you wanted to, you could add 72 plus 68 and divide by 2, and you'd get 70. So our average test score is a 70. So if I want to score between 70 and 75, I have to get at least a 70. So we'll put x as our score. And my answer has to be greater than or equal to 70. Or my test score has to be greater than or equal to my average in order to keep it there. Okay, but what's the highest I can get? Well, the highest grade you can get on a test is 100. So you also have to take that into account. So x is greater than or equal to 70, and x is less than or equal to 100. But they want to write that in interval notation. Well, in this case, we need to score between a 70 and 100, and it can equal both, so we use brackets. So that's my interval notation. Okay? That is application, so make sure you took notes. If you need to, go back through them. Make sure you have something written down so you can use it on that test. We'll see you tomorrow.